All right, so we've just produced an amazing striped bass fumet, and talk about aromatherapy. This is off the charts, big bold flavors, big bold aromas, and that's gonna be turned into a coconut curry soup. All right, so the next step is to take those fillets that we took off the frames for the fumet and start to cube those up. So let's go ahead and get those out of the Yeti and start breaking it down. All right, so we take our beautiful fillet, put a little positive pressure towards the tailpiece, and then work back and forth with our knife, letting the knife do the work, keeping a little positive pressure as we pull, and we can always flip over and see how we're doing. That's gorgeous. And just follow through all the way, and you get this nice bit of skin. Now there's a lot of things we can do with this. We could soak this briefly in teriyaki sauce and crisp it for chips. We could dehydrate it and puff it. So there's a lot of nutrient content in the skin. We're gonna save that. Trim down on that belly. Now we're gonna cube this meat up. Just a nice medium dice. You don't want it too small, otherwise it might fall apart with the heat of the soup as we make it. So for today's cook, we're using a Kamado Joe Big Joe 2, one of my favorite instruments to cook with. This ceramic really does a great job of harnessing that energy, and we're using natural lump charcoal. All right, no chemicals, no off flavors, just pure, beautiful carbon hardwood from Argentina. Come on in, let me show you how we've got the fire set up today. But notice we don't have a whole lot of charcoal in here, but I'm gonna bank everything that we've got right towards the center, making sure to leave some of these air gaps in the bottom wide open. So we're gonna have good airflow here. There's a good heat signature coming right off the center. Today's accessory we're gonna use to make today's curry is a Kamado Joe cast iron Dutch oven. Notice we set it right on top of that X-rack, and we've got that great fire directly beneath. First thing we're gonna do is hit a little bit of oil in the bottom of our pan. Ginger. Now we go in with our chopped garlic. And before we start getting too much color on that, let's go ahead and begin to bloom in some of this red curry paste. That's what I want to hear. While that's getting nice and toasty, let's go ahead and knock in our peppercorns, coriander, and cumin seeds. Now we go in with a little bit of shallot, and then we're going to hit half of our coconut milk. Incorporate that, make sure everybody's playing nicely in the pot. I'm going to agitate these coals a little bit just to wake everything up and make sure we've got that heat signature pumping right underneath this pan. And look, just like that, we're starting to get some bubbles going on. Everything's happening right now. And with that, we're going to knock in some of our fumet that we made. So the first step of our curry is in the books, all right? And we're looking fantastically right now. We've got a nice steady roll, not too hot. If things were getting a little aggressive, we could shut the draft door at the bottom and close the lid and kind of snuff some of this airflow. But I love what I'm seeing right now. Everything's reducing, everybody's getting closer together here. In a time of social isolation, this is not isolating in this pot. Everybody's getting along. That's a party right there, okay? Talking about that fumet real quick, if you don't have time or don't have the bones to make that stock, don't let that not make you make this dish, okay? You can do a vegetable stock if you like. If you don't have, you could even do chicken stock if you wanted, okay? It's not my go-to. I'd prefer a vegetable stock over chicken stock so that you can really pick up some of the subtle sweet notes of this Pacifico Striped Bass. But magical things are happening. Come on in, let's get another closer look at this. And I'm not gonna stir it, I'm letting everything happen, but we're gonna let this reduce by half. And then we're going to begin to mount in the meat and some of our other ingredients. Remember, we've still got that brown sugar to go, and the jalapenos, and the fish sauce, and yet some more stock, coconut milk, and don't forget that wild striped bass. Here we go. All right, now everything's looking really tightened up in there and reduced. Bubbles have gotten a lot larger. The sheen is a little different, so I can tell that viscosity is right where we need it to be. It's time to go ahead and roll in the Pacifico Striped Bass. So come take a look. Just nice bubbles. I'm reduced by half. Now we're gonna start knocking it in. Let's go in with the rest of our coconut milk. And all those clumps, we'll just incorporate those. And you want to be careful not to beat that fish up. So we're gonna switch from these aggressive tongs back to that wooden paddle I've got. Brown sugar, jalapeno. Again, that jalapeno brings some heat, so if you're not keen to it, don't put it in. But I love it. Now we're gonna go in with the rest of our fish stock, and use your judgment here. If you think it's gonna be a little too thin by the time that everything's reduced and the fish is cooked, don't put the whole rest of the 3 cups in there. Maybe save some. And I'm liking, come take a look in here. Let's get close. This is right where I want to be to gently bring that fish up. And let me scoop up a couple of these pieces of fish. It's just starting to get some of that color on the outside. Beautiful. Now I'm going to do something here. Let's look at the flame going on. We can see we've got a pretty intense fire. I want to kind of funnel that heat towards the pot. So I'm going to close this dome, and that's going to give us a little bit of that grilled or natural lump charcoal flavor. So by closing the lid, we're going to focus that heat signature a little bit tighter towards the center. And we're going to give that about, I'd say, another 6-7 minutes. And we're probably sitting around 450 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So another 6 or 7 minutes, we'll check back in. All right, I like the sheen, I like the bubbles again. Fish is cooking nicely. It's been 6 minutes since last we checked in. I just opened that lid. Come take a look, let's see where we are. And I'll give you a better idea. Oh, it looks wonderful. So let's go ahead and put the finishing touches here. Bit of fish sauce. Bit of cilantro. Let's get in with that fresh lime. We'll use half of this. It's a less is more scenario. Bit of an incorporation. Now for the taste. It's freaking hot. That is lush. That is absolutely lush. I'm a big fan of that Kamado Joe Dutch oven. It handles the heat really nicely. We were able to use a small amount of charcoal and get to a point where we're 212 degrees, good simmer here. And that Pacifico Striped Bass is just flaky. I mean, the mouthfeel is great. I'm chewing with my back teeth, not getting that stick, that gumption that tells me it's right where it needs to be. This is really wonderful. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off the grill, and let's plate it up as we would do for a wonderful dinner with the family.